What's up YouTube, welcome back to the game room. I'm going to do a special video this month. So this month I've been busy. I've been purchasing lots of things. I've picked up quite a few collections. So today's video we are going to recap on what I got for the month of August. Before we start, to say this is a clue to my first game, which you can see the pedals for on the floor. I will give you a hint. It's for the original Xbox. It's one of the most regarded games on the system. It's a grail. It's unique to the unique game to the OG Xbox. Anyway, say before we started, to say this is my original Xbox. It's on the floor at the moment because what I'll show you in a minute is taking up the space on the table. I mean, just say that's the Xbox Series X, and the other one is say right. So I've given you a bit of time to think about it. Do you know what the game is yet? For those that couldn't work it out, it's Steel Battalion. It's a mech simulator game, so in some ways it's more similar to a train game. It's got a giant oversized controller, and when you say it's unique to the original Xbox. So for to start, so you say this is the box it came in, and you say it's more like that's the original box it came in. It's like a crate. It's like a military crate. It's cardboard though, so my brother had to pick it up because I didn't want it to go in the post or anything to avoid the damage to it. And say if you're getting this game shipped from thing, it's going to be expensive on the shipping, as you want to make sure it's quite well protected, as it's worth. Well, on price charting, it's around 180 complete somewhere for a UK copy. Although I've seen copies, they say the NTSC copy sometimes goes for more. I've seen one on the Double Jump video recently go for around. Actually, it didn't sell. They've priced it around $400. It may still be available though. Okay, so say that's the box it came in, and you say I'm going to show you the controller to start with. Okay, we can say we're going to move up to the table. So you see, I've put the controller on the table. Basically, you say that's where my PC keyboard, for example, is behind it. I mean, say this is one of the biggest controllers in any game outside. It feels like it would be more at home in an arcade game. And before the controller was, when people had problems with the controllers, the arcade division of Capcom were the people that serviced it up for a while. And we say the controller comes in 3 separate sections, and you have to use an Allen key and some bolts and various bits to attach it. Make sure it comes with all the bolts and the screws, as they're probably prone to going. And we say there's 2 revisions of this controller. So there's this version, the green version, which is the earlier version, and there's the blue version, which is the later version. You say the blue version, the later version, generally is probably less likely to break. And you say you want to make sure the controller is in good nick when you get this game, as it's nearly essential to playing the game. And you say you can get the disc sometimes loose for somewhere around the £80 mark, but you really need the controller. Anyway, say I'll show you the controller. I would say also the buttons on the controller do light up as well when it's turned on, but it's not turned on currently. And we say I'll show you the controller. Let me say first before we start, I've only got a couple of hours into the game, so I won't be able to get, but I can give you. I'm not that good at it at the moment. It takes a while to get used to it. It's quite realistic. I barely got out of the hangar at the start and died on like the first enemy. And you say I can give some pointers though for those that are new to it. And when you say there's the throttle control on the left, it's like gears on the car, so it's used for forward, back, reverse, and putting your mech into a higher gear. But don't put the mech into too high a gear, because you can tip the mech, and I don't know if it's possible to untip the mech. I've flipped the thing a few times. So we say the left stick is only used to tilt the torso on the mech. It just moves you between left and right. It doesn't do anything else. Those various switches there are used to boot. To basically, when you turn on the mech, it's to turn on various systems on the mech. And you say that the center panel is mainly used for communication features, which I haven't used because I haven't got that far into the game. It means say you can communicate later with a battalion of mechs. So it's you say Also, this controller you can also use with, there's various mods and various things you can do on the controllers. You can use it with various PC games like Elite, and there's various other like Mech Warrior and things like that. So there are other things you can do with the controller once you get it as well. And you said there's loads of buttons. There's buttons for everything. There's buttons for changing your weapons and various things. There's buttons for extinguisher, washing the mech if the screen's gets dirty. There's like buttons for grenades, changing your magazines, all sorts of things. And say I haven't used half of the buttons. And we say we go on to the right, which is the main stick. So this is basically used for your weapons. It's used for aiming your main sight, basically your weapon. You can lock on by holding down the lever and pressing the main button. And we say on the right hand side, there's one of them. This is one of the most important buttons on the controller. This is the eject button. So this button has like a kind of permadeath kind of feature. I mean, you say you basically if you don't eject from your mech in time when you're going to die, you basically need to eject from your mech, or otherwise if you don't do it in time by pressing the button, your save will delete. So basically it's quite harsh, but that's how the game works, and that's just how it is. So basically my tip for you is, if you basically always have the cover open and ready to press the button in case the mech blows, and you can eject in time. Anyway, there are other buttons here which are used for, I think it's generally communication. They're stuff like looking on the map and various other button stuff like that. Anyway, I haven't used half the buttons on it. Anyway, so we'll go back to the pedals. I mean, you say these pedals are some of the best built pedals. They've got quite a lot of resistance. If you push them down, they've got quite a lot of give to them. They're quite heavy. They're metal, unlike some pedals in various games, such as Rock Band. Stuff like Rock Band has pedals, but they're all plastic. These are metal. So you've got your forward, which is this one, and back, which is this one, and then there's like sidestep, which is this one, which just gives you a quick boost sideways. It's like a rocket boost kind of turbo kind of setting. Anyway, that's the pedals. And you say they're quite heavy. That's why the box is so big. And we said we go back to what you get in the box, and you say you get. Okay, so but also before we get onto that, we said that Steel Battalion is available. There's basically Steel Battalion is this game, which is the original one. I'll line it on the floor. So the Steel Battalion, the original one. So there's also another version available, which is Steel Battalion Line of Contact, which is the sequel. So the way to tell if it's a Line of Contact, it says Line of Contact on the box. It says Steel Battalion on this one, and I feel the box has got more red on it, and it says Line of Contact. I've seen other YouTube videos with people with that, and generally that copy of the game with Line of Contact, which is the multiplayer version, which basically is still playable. You basically have to have what's called X-Link Kai, which is a piece of PC software which you can link your Xbox and PC together, and you can still play it online. It's the multiplayer component of this game, which is available separately as well. But generally, you can get them all in one box, which is the second version of this game, and it will probably also have the blue controller, more likely to have the blue controller as well. Anyway, so that's the game. That's the Allen key that comes in the box, which is kind of essential for building it. I don't know if it's a standard key or not, but it comes in the box. And we said there also is the assembly instructions, which is just like a thing telling you how to assemble the controller. And you also have this, which is the the manual. This is a beast. This is like somewhere around the 200-page manual, and it's basically got various explanations on what all the buttons do. It's not all in English though, so it's not actually a 200-page manual, but it's fairly in depth. It's more like a monster manual or something like that, or it wouldn't look out of place in some science fiction game, Warhammer maybe, something around that. Anyway, it's an in-depth manual. And we say that is Steel Battalion. And we say I thank you to Mike for selling it to me, and I'm very happy to have it. And you say it's one of my most expensive games in my collection. And we said before we get on to my other games, this is what I used to play on my original Xbox. So this is an HDMI adapter for the original Xbox. It basically plugs into the HDMI port. It basically enables you to use HDMI on an original Xbox without any mods or anything. It's basically just one cable. You plug it in there to the Xbox, and you plug that into the Xbox and that into the HDMI port, and it basically enables you to play all the games on your more current TV rather than playing on your old school CRT thing. Anyway, so that's a Kaiko HDMI converter for the original Xbox, and I think I got it on Amazon. It's not very expensive. It was about £15, I think it is. Right, so now we'll move on to my next collection. So I also got this month, so thanks to my other friend, which is Sam, aka Moose, who sold me his most of his Nintendo collection. It's mostly Nintendo games. I'm going to show them to you in a minute. It's going to be mostly DS games. I'm going to say I paid £300 for this collection. I mean, say I'll show you the games, and I'll tell you a little bit about each and what I know and how much I paid for them roughly and what I think they're worth. I mean, say all the values I'm going to quote are price charting values. As I say, I'm going to link my collection on price charting in the description for those that want to know and a bit more detail. Okay, so we're going to start off with the first two games. They're Phoenix Wright games, so these are by Capcom. So this is a series which they're a bit like a point and click kind of investigative kind of game. So they're Phoenix Wright. He's a lawyer, and he basically solves various cases. And he says, say, I'm looking forward to playing these. I've never played a Phoenix Wright game. They're more recent Phoenix Wright games available. I believe it's the Phoenix Wright collection, which I think is the original 3 games in the trilogy. But so these still have value. This is Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice for, and this is either the first or the second game. I can't remember. I mean, say I paid £10 each for them. They're around the £20 each mark. And we say they're by Capcom. I say Capcom games. Oh, Steel Battalion, coincidentally, also by Capcom. And we said this is the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I think that's why it's either the first or the second game. This is this thing. And so these are both US games. In general, US games seem to be worth more. I don't know why. Is it more? There are more people that collect US games. But bear in mind, people, DS isn't region locked. You can play all region games on all region machine, as opposed to the 3DS, which is definitely not region locked, which you can only play your region games on it without a modification. Right, that's Phoenix Wright. Now we have The World Ends With You. So this is a game by Square Enix. They did a more recent, I think it's Neo World Ends With You more recently. So this I'm looking forward to. I paid, I think it was 15 I paid for this. This is a game by Square. I mean, so I'm looking forward to this. I think this one goes for, it's around the £35 mark. I mean, so I'm looking forward to playing it. I mean, I like RPGs, like enough said. I mean, so this is one of the good ones. Say, people, this is Chrono Trigger. This is the NTSC Chrono Trigger. So this is one of my favorite RPGs I've had. I've got Chrono Trigger on other thing. I've got the Chrono Trigger on the PlayStation, and which was the original way I played it. It's one of my favorite RPGs. It's one of the only RPGs that has it has multiple endings. You can play through it multiple ways and get various different endings and various characters. You say, I think there was like somewhere around 12 endings. I think I maybe have got 2 or 3. I mean, say it's got Frog in it. When you play as a frog. What other JRPGs have a frog? Actually, I think Dragon's Quest has a frog in it, but like yes, but like that's one of the other ones. I mean, say this is expensive. I think I paid 40 for it. It's around 90. I was thinking it was an English edition. It was going to be about 80 quid. It's the American one. It's worth 90. Right. Here's a slightly more interesting one. So this was my only Japanese game that I picked up. This is Elite Beat Agents 2. So this is the Japanese version, which is, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. It begins with O anyway. So this is Elite Beat Agents 2. So this is the Japanese version. So this, for those who don't know, is in English. the English regions, it had a different set of tracks, and that it was localized, and then they would put in more a licensed soundtrack. I think stuff out like Avril Lavigne and stuff on it. Anyway, that's Elite Beat Agents 2. I'm quite looking forward to it. I enjoy rhythm action games. I don't believe I've played Elite Beat Agents at all. Anyways, to say that's the sequel. Right, we'll move on to the other games. So we'll start with, so this is one of the best ones in the collection. So this is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. I paid up for this game. I paid 50 quid for it. It's around the £60 mark. These are, bear in mind, most of the games now are going to be English versions, so they're PAL copies. So this is is a continuation of the Mystery Dungeon series. So I didn't know before I started looking into this game more closely much about this game, but it's one of the most highly regarded games in the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series. It's basically an improved edition of Explorers of Time or an Explorers of Darkness. Anyway, it's one of the most regarded games in the series. I haven't played a game since the original Mystery Dungeon game, which was it was a DS game. It was an early DS game. It also came out. It was also available on the. I believe it was on the Game Boy Advance as well, and it had a different name based on which one system it was on. Anyway, Explorers of Sky looks really cool. I'm looking forward to playing it. The other Mystery Dungeon games are also available. There's other various ones, but with other spin-offs. There's like Chocobo Dungeon that I've had in one of my previous videos, and there's various other ones, but they were worth playing. Right, now we'll do the best game in the collection, from my perspective. So I got Pokemon Soul Silver. So this is the edition with the Poké Walker. It's in the box. It's got the Poké Walker in. It is missing the manual. So it also came with this thing, which is quite interesting, which I've never seen. I've got Heart Gold. I had Heart Gold from New. I got this to complete my set. Came with this as well, which is like it's kind of a lenticular kind of 3D kind of thing, which is like, that was interesting. I got that with it. I don't know how you got this originally. I got gold from New. I didn't see it unless you got it when you pre-ordered it or something. I don't know if it was a pre-order bonus. Anyway, that's the lenticular. I'll open the game and show you the condition. Yeah, so before we get it, so this game is going for, this is around 110. I paid 65 for it. I think it's in good condition, other than it's missing the manual for the Poké Walker, but I'll show you my Heart Gold complete copy to show you what should be in it. So this is the game itself. The manual and everything's there. It's all there, like even all the paraphernalia, like the Club Nintendo leaflet. It's all there. I mean, you say the card itself's in good condition. I mean, you say that's the game box itself. And we move on to the actual thing. The cardboard itself's in good condition. Had some random components in the box, so he gave me like a carrying case. Actually, that's quite cool. It looks like it's for the DS. It's like a plastic carrying case. It's got Mario on it, I feel, in the outline, and it had some random Phantom Hourglass booklet in it. I've already got that game anyway. Anyway, it's missing the inner cardboard bit. I mean, say that's the Poké Walker. It's complete. I haven't checked it works, but I'm confident it's complete. It will work. I'll show you my other copy of Heart Gold quickly to show you what's in the complete copy. So this is Heart Gold, which is the matching one in the series. I would say this I've had from New, and I had another copy that I sold to Jank Merchant. So this is my original copy. Let's open it. Yeah, so this is basically what this copy is missing. So this is the manual for the Poké Walker. It's quite big. And when you say, I'm trying to see if Sam can find the additional manual. It would be greatly appreciated if you can find it. Thank you very much. Anyway, that's the Poké Walker manual. And also, it has some cardboard inner bits, which wasn't in that copy. But that's not such a big a concern anyway. Or I need to say, we'll go on to the other games in this thing. These games are okay. So we'll do the other DS games for start. I mean, say these games are worth a lot less, but I still get them. I say I like them. They're cheap. This is Scribblenauts. So this is quite an innovative thing. So it's like a cross between like an RPG and like maybe like Pictionary or something like that. So you basically draw various things, and then basically the items come on screen. It's like an RPG kind of thing. You have to solve various puzzles and various things. Very cool, very unique to the DS. Although I'm not sure. I think they did a Wii version as Wii, maybe even a Wii U version as well. I mean, they were cheap. I didn't pay much for them. They were like £2-3 kind of mark. So that's Scribble Noughts, and that's Drawn to Life, which is a similar thing. This is in a kind of like a fantasy thing. This is like Tetris Party Deluxe. I haven't played this one, so I paid around like £3-something. I mean, to say that's Tetris Party. It's Tetris on the DS. There's quite a few Tetrises on the DS. Hopefully this is one of the better versions. And as I said, we've got a Professor Layton game. So I'm trying to collect all the Professor Layton games, and this is one I didn't have. So this is Professor Layton and the Pandora's Box. Don't ask me which one in the series it is. I think it's third or fourth. I'm not 100% sure. And Pandora's Box is also a console, which is an emulating-based console as well, which I showed on my previous video. And let me say we go on to the last DS game, which is Guitar Hero on Tour. So this is Guitar Hero on Tour. So this is the Guitar Hero game on the DS, which kind of I mentioned in one of my other videos. As I say, I mentioned Rock Band. That I'd played the Rock Band on the PlayStation PSP, and then you say this is Guitar Hero on the DS. It comes with what's called a grip peripheral in it, which is basically used and slots onto the machine to enable you to play the note with like the buttons, like the notes. Unfortunately, it's missing the pick kind of a stylus thing which comes with it, but he's on the lookout for it now, and hopefully I'll find it at some point so it enables me to play it in the best way possible. I mean, say I've got 2 GameCube games. I got the Action Replay, which is loose. This is expensive. I paid, what did I pay, 15 for it? Apparently it's around the £70 mark, even in this condition, which I was quite surprised at. I mean, so I thought it was going to be less. Anyway, I say it's around the £70 mark. I'm looking forward to being able to play my Pac-Man Versus game, especially. I mean, so this is the game I got. So this is Medabots Infinity. This is available in Europe as well, though, but this is the US copy. I mean, say that I paid around 30 for this. It's around the £60 mark. I mean, that's Medabots Infinity. It looks kind of interesting. I'm not really sure much about it. Anyway, it looks interesting. I'll look it out and play it at some point. I mean, that's Medabots. And we got 2 Wii games to finish. We got the Boogie, which it looks like a rhythm action game. I like my rhythm action games. It doesn't look very much, but thing I paid around like £3, got something for it. Mark, it's got like singing, dancing. I mean, as I say, I haven't played any of the actual motion dancing games. As I say, they might be okay on the Wii. Anyway, that's Boogie. And we've got Elades, which is more like a action kind of thing. It might even look a bit like Pikmin, in which you've got multiple like kind of things. It looks a bit like Pikmin in some ways, and say that's Elades. Alright, as I say, that was that collection, and you say we got some other collections. As I say, I got another couple of collections. Oh yeah, I've got another 2. Where are those things? Oh yeah, I've got those. Yeah. I say, okay, so I got some PlayStation 2 games as well. I would say I've got these. Where's that piece of... I've got a piece of paper with the prices. Yeah, I've got a piece of paper, so I've got... Okay, so I got... These are all ones I got at the car boot. I mean, you say this is the first one, so I got... This is Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. I mean, so all these games were... I think I paid £1 each for those. So this is Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance on the PlayStation 2. This is a continuation of the Mortal Kombat series. I mean, to say this is one of the games in the series. I haven't played all of them in the series. I mean, to say I think I paid £1 each for these ones. And to say this game is on price charting, it's going for $5.52. Next one I got these. I think these were all in the same stall at the car boot. So this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the TMNT NT on the PS2. This looks more like a 3D one as opposed to the earlier 2D kind of Turtles games like Turtles in Time on the SNES and whatever the other one on the Mega Drive and that one. It's also by UBI Soft as well. I mean, this is worth around the £5 mark. And there's this Sonic Riders. So this is was for the 15th anniversary of Sonic, so that was 2006. So this is Sonic Riders, which is like a cross between a Sonic game and like a hoverboarding game, so it's like comparable to something like Trick Style, I would say, which is on the Dreamcast. And then you say there's also a Sonic Riders game, which is, I believe, compatible with the Kinect sensor on the Xbox as well. Anyway, I'm hoping that's quite interesting. I like my racing games, I like my Sonic games. Okay, that's Sonic Riders. That's worth £6, $6.60. And this is SSX Tricky. I was mentioning my other video when I got some snowboarding games recently that I was looking. I haven't got. I really fancy getting SSX Tricky again. And we say SSX Tricky is one of the best snowboarding games on any platform, really. This version is going for £7.49. This is the Platinum re-release edition. So SSX Tricky is a really good snowboarding game. And when you say the soundtrack is iconic, it's known for the remix of It's Tricky, the Run DMC song. So I like Run DMC anyway, and the remix of It's Tricky is really good. I think there's also some, I think BT might be on the soundtrack as well. I like BT as well, and there's some more dance stuff as well. Anyway, the remix of It's Tricky is really, really good. I'm trying to find it separately on like various music platforms. I don't think you can get it on Spotify, for instance. But like, yeah, it's Tricky, the remix by Run DMC. It was done by Mixmaster Mike, who was in the Invisible Scratch Pickles, which is one of the best like style of hip hop kind of scratch DJ kind of groups. So it was a group with which had him, it had Cuba and D Styles in, which are all very regarded hip hop kind of style of DJ. I mean, to say they won the DMC World Championship, so I can't remember what year it is, but you can definitely find that video on YouTube if you want to look it up. And they say those are some really good DJs, and I really like that. And SSX Tricky is a really good game. I mean, say those are the PlayStation 2 games. We're going to say we're going to move on. So my next, I found some charity shop Wii games as well, so I'll show you those. These were all £1. They're around, if I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, so this is, so I got these snowboarding games. I think these were the first one I got, and then I was thinking about SSX Tricky, and I got that only a couple of days later, I think. So this is Shaun White Snowboarding World Stage. I don't remember if this is the first one or not. One of them's the early game, and this cost me £1, as I was shown on the tag. I mean, I got this from a charity shop in the UK. I mean, said they're also in America, they're called thrift shops. I mean, say this is it's like a snowboarding game. The only difference with some of these ones are the reason why I got them mainly is because they're compatible with the Wii balance board that comes from Wii Fit, and we think it might be fun trying them with a Wii balance board and seeing, because there's an arcade range. I think it was Alpine Surfer or something on the arcade, which I've actually finished on the arcade cabinet, which was also, this was really like that kind of game which had motion controls in it, but they were quite fun. Anyway, I'm hoping it's like that game. I feel it might be longer than that game, because that game is only like 4 tracks kind of thing. And this is Shaun White Snowboarding Road Trip, which is one of the other games in the series. I can't remember which way around. They're £1. I paid £1. And Road Trip is going for, it's a whole £1.54, so that's not probably the more expensive one. And the world stages are going for £4 something. Anyway, so those are those. And you say my more recent purchase. So I got a section of Xbox 360 games. I basically saw them coming a mile off, because you can see the nice voluminous thing of green spines at the car boot, and you can see them a mile away, nice and easy to identify. So I'll go through them and see what there's a lot. Most of the games are above average in value for the Xbox game. I paid £1 each for these games. The entire stack is around the £100 mark. And we say they're average out at £5-6 each. I paid I think I paid £14. Yeah, I paid £14 for the stack, and then they're around 100. Okay, this is Supreme Commander, the first one. So this is like looks like an RTS kind of style of game. And we said before, I don't think RTS games play that well on the console. I don't feel they adapt very well to playing outside a keyboard and mouse. But this is one that I will try at some point. Anyway, this is Supreme Commander. It has above average value as well. It's like £4.73. Right, there's that one. And then we've got another interesting one. So this is Darkstar 1, Broken Alliance. It advertises it as being in full HD, but like, okay, sure, but it's probably an earlier Xbox game. And we see this is Darkstar. It looks like a cross between a kind of like an RPG, a space thing. In kind of ways, some ways it looks a bit more like Elite and that stuff like that, like a space kind of style of trading kind of game. I'm not sure if it's got any more action things, but it says explore alien worlds. So in some ways, it's to buy, sell, and trade. It sounds like somewhere like between Dune and Elite and stuff like that. So that's Darkstar 1 Broken Alliance, and it's above average thing. It's £6.37 on price starting. Then we've got Battleship, which is not to be confused with Battleship, the board game, which is probably the iconic board game in various territories. It is anyway. This is Battleship, so this is got various different levels, but like it looks like a cross between a thing. So some of the levels play out in like a first-person shooter kind of thing, and some are more like you play on as like boats and stuff, so it's more like a naval kind of combat game. Anyways, this one looks interesting, looks good at some point. It's going for $6.96. And then we've got Ilstormvok, Birds of Prey. So this is like a kind of more like a simulator, flight simulator kind of thing. It also advertises the Xbox flight stick on the back. I think, Cytec Aviator flight stick, which will probably add a bit of thing to it. I haven't seen a flight stick of a thing. I'll keep my eye open for one. It says going for £5.43. I don't know if it's in a series or not. I don't think it is. And so they've got Battle Stations Pacific. So this is another kind of one. So it's got like a flight game. So it's kind of got another like World War kind of 2 kind of settings. It got over 100 units it advertised. Yeah, this also came with Battle Stations Midway in the box. So Battle Stations Pacific, that's a loose disc there. So this one is going for $7.70. And Battle Stations Midway is going for £3 something. So £10 something the pair. I paid £1. Then we've got Command & Conquer Kane's Wrath. So not to be confused with Kane the Wrestler or Big Daddy Kane. And we just say so this is Kane's Wrath, Command & Conquer on the Xbox 360. There's also another Command & Conquer 3 which is also available. This is above average value as well. This is going for £7 something. I've played various Command & Conquer games, but I haven't played this one. It's the Nod and GDI and that are fairly iconic. I believe Randy Couture from who used to be a UFC personality is also actor, is in one of the games as well. I mean, go say one of the ones I'm looking forward to, Ace Combat 6, Fires of Liberation. This is another flight game. I think most of these games, flight sims, the guy was quite into flight sims and RPGs. I had most of the RPGs, and but I bought most of the flight simulators I didn't have. I mean, so this is Ace Combat 6, Fires of Liberation. It's by Namco as well. I mean, so it's another flight sim kind of style of game with the modern kind of setting. Obviously, this is more modern than the other ones. Some of those look like they're mostly World War II kind of setting, which is fairly not common for these kind of games. This looks like a more modern kind of futuristic kind of thing. I mean, so this game is going for it's going for £7.7 apparently. So, but there's another edition that comes with a flight stick. That game is worth looking out for in your on your travels. I mean, you say that's going for £75. I mean, you said this was the best one I got in the lot, so this was I knew this was going to be worth more than all the games in the lot what I paid for the entire lot anyway. So this is Spyro Dawn of the Dragon. Another confession, people, time. I've never played a Spyro game. I've yet to play one. I basically didn't have a PS1 when it came out, so I didn't really play them early. And I never played any of the PS2 games. Anyway, so I'll probably play the other games in the franchise later. Anyway, so this was good, one of the best pickups in the lot. It's going for quite a bit. It's a £20 Xbox 360 game, and I still feel you can probably find it because like Spyro games were quite popular and they've sold in reasonable quantities. And I just say this one I'll play at some point. And it's that Spyro Dawn of the Dragon. I mean, so now we've got a slightly more interesting one. This is however you pronounce it. It sounds Venetian in kind of origin. Obviously, this one has got a replacement case by the look of it. It's got a black style case, which doesn't look right to me. I'll probably replace it with a green one at some point. Xbox game not in a green style box doesn't feel fun. Anyway, it looks an interesting game. It looks like it's an RPG. It has basically got a kind of what looks like a unique kind of setting. And as I say, I don't know how to really describe it, but I'm quite looking forward to playing that one. That looks kind of unique. It kind of looks like a medieval kind of not medieval. I describe it as it's like a Venetian kind of setting. I would describe it as. It looks like a bit like Assassin's Creed in kind of setting in like Venice or that kind of Spain kind of area. Anyways, that's Venetia. That looks quite cool. It's going for $7.46. And we've got another one. So Destroy All Humans, Path of the Fuhrer. I think they gave away one of the Destroy All Human games recently. I think in the second one, when the second one came out. I mean, this is Destroy All Humans on the thing. This is looking quite interesting game, so that looks quite fun. I mean, you said that's going for around it's $8.89. I mean, say my second mech game of the month. This is Chrome Hounds. This is by From Software, the same people that did Dark Souls, and it's published by Sega. So this is another mech game. This one isn't going to play nearly as well as I feel as Steel Battalion, but there's a huge difference in price. This one isn't worth very much. This is a cheap game. This is only worth around the £3 mark. But it's a mech game, and the mech games seem to be quite popular. I mean, you say we feel the online isn't playable anymore, but there's still various single player content is still available. Anyway, that's Chrome Hounds, and I look forward to playing it at some point. It's by From Software that did Dark Souls. Alright, so we've got another flight sim game. I think this might be the last flight sim game. We've got Blazing Angels, Secret Missions of World War II. It's a Ubisoft flight sim game. I would say I've played the original Blazing Angels, which was okay. And it's apparently now got co-op and multiplayer. So the original didn't have co-op and multiplayer, so I'd recommend that one if you want to play a co-op kind of thing. And then with this kind of game, it might be quite fun because I feel it's slightly more unusual. And this Blazing Angels is going for £5 something, I believe. I mean, you say we've got an Iron Man game. So this is Iron Man or Tony Stark in that. So this is a thing game. I don't think I've actually played any Iron Man games. I think most of the superhero games I've played are Spider-Man or Batman, I think, in general. Anyway, let me just say this is worth this is like nearly £7. It's worth $6.90, as I only paid £1. So that's we'll check out at some point. And then we've got another tactical game to finish with. This is Ruse. I mean, say this looks more. Yeah, this looks a bit like another RTS game. It's Ubisoft again. I mean, just say that's those. I mean, you just say my last pickup that I got new this month was so my Xbox Series X controller gave up. I had to get another one. I basically got mine from Game, which was in guarantee. It broke. So basically, these controllers seem to be prone to going. I'm currently on my third Xbox Series X controller. So the first one basically got stuck in like permanently vibrating and rumble. So I've given it to my friend to try and fix. The second one had issues with stick drift. So I had to, but it was within warranty. So I returned it. And as I say, this is my third one. So currently this one's going fine. And my friend Mike, Jank Merchant, is trying to fix the other one. So this is another thing. This is the bog standard black one. It's basically what they had. They only have black or white, and these are still in short supply. The game got a restock recently, and then you say I got one, and that took me a while to find. I mean, say I've got some other games that didn't make that I forgot about in my other videos. That they're not technically new this month, but I haven't shown them before, so I'll show you these ones. So this was the game that didn't make my Nintendo videos. So this is Tatsunoko versus Capcom. So this is more unusual. This is a crossover between Capcom and Tatsunoko, the animation studio that did Battle for the Planets and stuff like Gatchaman. Yeah, so this is more unusual. I mean, say most of the Capcom fighting games are in high regard. I feel this is one of the more unusual ones as well. I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's as regarded as stuff like Marvel versus Capcom, that I think is more popular as it has more crossover appeal to people from the like both franchises. Anyway, This is Tatsunoko versus Capcom, and it's nearly worth 30 quid. It's worth 20. It's £29 something. I paid £8 for it, but that would have been a long time ago. So that's Tatsunoko versus Capcom. And we said we've got the. This is didn't make my Xbox video. I was trying to find a value for it. I couldn't find values on all these games. So these all PAL. Most of these games are going to be PAL ones, unless I say otherwise. So this is Hitman Absolution. It's one of the games in the Hitman series. I think it was one of the earlier ones I played. Anyway, this is the limited edition. What do they call it? A professional edition they call it. So it's got the game and the thing, and then it's got this nice art book, which is like a solid art book, which is like here. It's got various art from the game. Anyway, Hitman's a very good game franchise. It feels like it's a bit like Splinter Cell or various other games, or more like a. Yeah, it's a bit like Splinter Cell or that kind of thing in that kind of setting. It's more like a modern kind of setting, which is more like a James Bond kind of thing, an Agent 47 with his head is iconic. There's also a Hitman, I think there's Hitman film as well, and there's a more recent Hitman 3 game which is available in 3 parts on more modern consoles. I've only got 2 of the parts. I'm waiting to get the 3rd part in like a sale or something, or not pay for it or get it free at some point. So that's Hitman Absolution, one of the better games in the series where I've played as well. I got this one a long time ago as well. This one I got in a charity shop. This one didn't make my PlayStation video. I think it was in a pile of games I was looking up and I couldn't find a price for it. So this is Hotel Stolen Song. It's a Japanese PS1 game. It's only got English on the spine. Most Japanese games have double spines and they have a English on one side and Japanese on the other side. So this is Hotel Stolen Song. So it's basically a cross between a music, from what I can determine, it's a cross between a music game and an RPG in which you have some kind of storyline and have to go through it and do various music encounters and various things. I don't know much about it, but as I say, I got it from the charity shop. It's I was pretty much mint. I paid like 2 quid for it. You don't see many Japanese games, and that's an interesting one, but like I don't feel it's going to be playable in Japanese. I mean, so another game I had in my thing, that's Dark Souls 3. I paid, what was it? I paid the tag price for it, so the £18, that would be a CX tag. That would be near when I got my PS5, and I was looking for other PS4 games to pick up to go with it. So that's Dark Souls 3. That's the Fate of the Fires edition, which is the game with all the DLC on it. And then it's a Borderlands game expansion pack, so that's an add-on to the original Borderlands. So that was the first 2. There's Zombie Island, Dr. Ned and Moxie's Underdome, right? So there's the add-on for the original Borderlands game on one disc. You can get the Game of the Year edition that has all of the DLC on one disc, and there's also available the 4K versions, but that's it on the original Xbox 360 anyway. And we say the last game to finish with is a special one, so it's for the original PlayStation. So we've got Beat Mania. So this is the original game, Beat Mania, which is a PlayStation 1 game. So this is a DJ game. It's by Konami. There's also a lot of other games in the series. So this is the big box edition. It comes with the game, which is the game there, which is that, and the turntable controller, which is this, which is like a free. It's tiny compared to things. So you've got your turntable, you've got your platter, you've got your 3 keys. No, it's 5 keys. It's 3 white keys and 2 black keys effectively, and you've got the buttons and that. I'm going to say there's later games in the franchise that have bigger controllers and have more buttons and are available on the PS2 and up. I think there's like 3D IDX and whatever the other ones are. Anyway, so that's Beat Mania. It's a fun DJ game, and so there are other DJ games available, but let's say the ones with the controllers are limited to like stuff like this, and like there's DJ Hero and that on the 360. And we say now I've gone on for a bit. So that was basically my pickups for August. And we say I'll try and do these pickup style videos whenever I pick up a reasonable collection or stuff that's worth going on about. And we say I've been going on for about 40 minutes now, so I feel this is one of my shorter videos. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And say thank you to Mike and Sam for selling me most of these games in the video, and the people that sold these games to me at the car boot. Anyway, so thanks very much, and from my Magic viewers, good luck to those that are going to the pre-release. Good luck at the Dominario pre-release. Liliana's all round, or whatever else you want. Anyway, and say good luck in your game hunting. Thanks very much. I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.